Boom. Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Hope you're well. Hope you're fantastic. My name is Gavin Mkabela. I hope that you are great. And then you are just awesome, man. It's Sunday morning, and happy Sunday to everybody. I hope that you are good. I hope that you're fantastic, and that everything is all good. I hope that you're going to have an amazing time today. Just whatever that you'll be doing, whether it's working or you will be, relaxing with family, whatever it may be. Some of us are going hiking in the next couple of hours, and yeah, just to be able to get my head out of the writing. It's just been I've been so consumed by writing that I just feel like I need nature. I need just to be in a space where I can just be by myself and think and walk and see nature, and it's gonna be great. So there's something that I wanted to touch on, and it's something that I was talking to a client yesterday, and I was explaining it, and I'm going to explain it just now. So I'm going to explain the difference between credit and debt. So credit and debt. But before I do that, I just want to touch on something quickly. So yesterday I was talking to a young lady, right? And she was telling me about her frustrations of, she used to work before, and then the business closed down, and she's currently not working. And I feel that a lot of people are going through that. So as she explaining to me, it's like she's been applying for jobs every week. She's been applying and applying, and nothing has been happening. And I feel that a lot of people are in that space. And she said something to me, which was it was sad, right? It was sad, because what she said, you know what, Gavin, there are no jobs. There are no jobs out there. And then she, one of the things that even tore my heart was that she said, I apply so much to a point where there are no jobs anymore to apply for. And that is depressing. You could feel that she is depressed. And of course, we started to have an engagement. And one thing that I said, and depending on how you take it, but that's just my perspective, is that yes, jobs are scarce. Yes, jobs are scarce, but opportunities are a lot. According to me, opportunities are a lot. Jobs might be scarce, but opportunities are a lot. And one of the things that I sort of started to interrogate, was to ask her the question, what problem are you solving? And I know this question might seem condescending, if that's the right word. When somebody is just belittling you and asking you such a question, you're like, really? But it is very, very important to say, what problem are you solving? Is the problem that you're solving, there? Is the challenges that you're trying to solve, are they there? Are they there really? Because even with writing a book, it's no longer just writing a book. It is about solving problems. I'm solving problems through the book that I'm writing, right? The biggest problem that I'm trying to solve is the problem of or the challenge of financial illiteracy. That's what I'm trying to solve. So, whenever now you're trying to solve a problem, obviously it means that there's a solutions that you bring on the table. So the problem is that, we are looking at jobs which, from an employee perspective, which is going to be difficult, especially in this current environment. Because remember that a lot of businesses, companies are going through a lot. They're also trying to survive. They're also trying to innovate. So the last thing that you need as a business owner, or as a manager or a hiring person, is somebody that will just be coming there to fill the space. You don't want somebody that's gonna come there and fill the space. You want somebody that will be solving a problem, the problems that you guys are having, or the problems that you guys are trying to solve. So we now need problem solvers, because immediately when you get into a problem solving mode, there is no way. And I need somebody to challenge me on this. There is probably no way, or the chances will be very little, where somebody will be sitting idle, not know what to do, right? So when you immediately get into the mode of a problem solver, you will always be trying to come up with ways to solve that problem, and you're going to go and be able to to reach out to people that might have that particular problem, so that you can be able to solve the problem. You get what I'm saying? So I think that our thinking needs to change, and lucky for me, I had to fall to understand it. I had to go through the times where my business fell, so that I could be forced to start thinking outside the box. Because I was in the corporate environment, and the corporate environment, it's safe. You have a job, you're okay, you're all right. You've been having a job for the past 20 years, you've been safe. Now, all of a sudden, COVID happens, and it disrupted your world, right? So now you're in the jungle, and then you don't know how to navigate the jungle. So that is why you now need to be able to reflect, sit back and say, okay, cool, this is where I'm at. This is what I used to do, right? Now, how do I move forward? What are the challenges? What are the issues that the world has that I need to be solving? From my passion, from whatever the skills that you might have, right? But it's thinking differently. Otherwise, you're going to have a problem. You're going to be sitting idle. You're going to be thinking about taking courses, and then you're going to be thinking, one question I asked, is said, okay, what do you want to do? What are you going to do now? It's like, no, I'm thinking of, going to study. Study what? I don't know, something, so that I can do something. That's not what you should be thinking. That's not the kind of thinking that you should be, you consumed by. The question should be, what are my skill sets that I have right now? How can I use my skill sets to be able to solve problems? That's what you should be thinking. How do I reinvent myself? Because, one of the things she said, she loves interior design. And then now she wants to go and study interior design. She wants a degree. And then I said to her, but if you today, you had a degree, what would you then do? And now and then I would need to, shadow people. So act as if you have the degree today. What would you do? You get what I'm saying? So we need to start changing the thinking. That's according to me. Opportunities are there, guys, but they need a different kind of approach. You cannot approach them in a way that you've been approaching other things. I'm not approaching this book the same way that I approached the first book, because I understand things have changed right now. I need to sell out the book before it's even finished. It's not finished, but already there's a demand for the book. Why? Because I started to tap into how other people are doing it, how I should be doing it, so that I can do it differently. So it's all about us changing the way we think. Because if we don't stick to the traditional way of thinking, think about it, guys. If that post went out, how many people are applying for that post? How many people are applying for that post? And probably the people that are applying for that post have a similar experience that you have. So what are the odds? So if there's one post and there is million applications, what are the odds? Right? So how do you get noticed? So get the book, right? So in the book, there is a chapter or a sermon there that talks about how to brand yourself. It's personal branding. How do you differentiate yourself from everybody else? And one of the things that I talk about there is you need to create content, guys. I was telling somebody and I was laughing about it, but luckily I didn't listen to people, because when I started doing these statuses, people were not reading them. They're like, oh, these status are long. You're writing long things. You're gonna lose people. People are gonna detach from you. And it was hectic at the time, because I started posting in different groups, and groups will delete me. They will call me spam. Because at the time it was not really something that was out there, right? It was not done. So I was doing it. I was just writing and writing and writing, and people thought this was just too much. People are not gonna read it, and I didn't get as many likes as everybody was getting. I didn't get invited to speak, and it was demotivating at times. But I started to understand that when you want to differentiate yourself, it's going to be along the road. Right now I am fusing in a way spirituality with finance. It's sort of a lonely road, because you are not talking the good feel things and all that. You are talking about deep stuff that people are like, ish, So it might seem, demotivating at times, but you don't understand that you are building. You are building yourself, and you are putting yourself out there, guys. That's where you're gonna start to be able to attract opportunities. I always use this line by Tyler Perry. A hunter will only shoot at the deer that he can see, right? A hunter will only shoot at the deer that he can see. If the hunter cannot see the deer, he cannot shoot at it. Like, that's simple. So if you're not putting yourself out there, nobody's gonna know you're there. It's all good, you make fun. It's all good, you're on TikTok, you're diving and all of that nice stuff. It's all great, right? You might be a sensation, one day. But you need to create proper content that is aligned, to your passion, to your skill set, so that you are putting it out there and then people start to follow you. Your LinkedIn, LinkedIn is a great platform for you to be in, but you cannot just write your status there. You cannot do your profile and this is where you worked and that's it. You have to be active on LinkedIn like we are, right? You have to put out content that will then start to attract people to you, right? So it's very, very important. Anyway, let me come back. The reason for this was not about that, but yeah, just went on. But the reason for the video was simple. What is the difference between credit and debt? Those two things are not the same. When people say credit is bad, no. Even debt is not bad, right? It just depends how you use it. So the first step to you getting money from a financial institution or from somebody that will be, or an organization that will be loaning you money, right? The first step is that they're going to do an assessment, right? An assessment to see that you qualify for whatever facility that you want. So I require 10,000, from the bank. So let's use the bank. I require 10,000 from the bank. So now the bank will do a credit assessment on me to see that I can afford to pay them back. Remember, now they are loaning me the money and then they're expecting me to pay it back. So they want to make sure that I can pay it back. So that is why it's also very important that you understand that when you go and loan money from a financial institution, that you are credit worthy. All right? You are credit worthy, because no financial institution is going to give you money if they can't see that you'll pay back, right? So you need to have income. Income is very important. You have to have income, because that then proves to the financial institution that you're applying for or that you're applying to that you can pay back the money. Very important. Then they will then do the assessment. Then they say, Gavin can afford this loan. Then they will then grant a credit facility. They're giving you a credit facility. It's a facility. Right. Now, then they will say, Gavin, we have approved your credit facility of 10,000. So they have approved it. Then I'll see it. If it's a bank, then I'll see all of a sudden now I have a credit facility. On your credit profile, it will come out as that 10,000 to say you have a facility. Then Gavin goes and spends 5,000 of that 10,000, right? Gavin goes and spends 5,000 of that 10,000. Now all of a sudden I have debt of 5,000, right? I have debt of 5,000, but I still have a credit facility that is still available, or available credit facility of 5,000. All right. So that's very important to note. So I have a debt of 5,000 because I've used the 5,000, and then I still have an available credit facility of 5,000. Remember, I went to apply for 10,000 and I was approved for 10,000. Well, fantastic. Now that 5,000 that I now have used will now run. So meaning that I need to now pay back the money. All right. So depending on what the monthly installment has been prescribed, I will then pay that monthly amount. So if it's I need to pay 1,000 every month, then it means that from that month, and let's say now is July, I use that facility. It means that at the end of July, or depending on what my debit date is or my repayment date is, then I will start to pay back that money. They will start deducting that 1,000, right? Now, if I don't use the additional 5,000, it's like that. It will stay as an available credit facility, right? So you see the difference. Your credit is what they give you, is what you have been given, right? Is what was approved, and then debt is what you then use. So this is what I have used. That then becomes a debt. That is why you'll see on your credit profile, it will state there that Gavin has a facility of 50,000 and then Gavin has used 10,000. So Gavin's debt is 10,000. So when they do the assessment, they do an assessment on the basis that Gavin has how much debt, and then the debt is that 5,000 that I have used. So that is the difference. So when we now also talk about toxic debt, right? So there's nothing wrong, guys, with debt. There is nothing wrong with credit. Nothing wrong. Actually, it's good if you know how to use it. The only problem that comes is that when you then go over and above your affordability. So what you afford, you go over and above. So that is why now we say that there is now toxic English. There is that toxicness within now your finances, because you can't afford. You cannot run on a basis of you are now over what you are now affording, because then that's where the problem starts. All right. So you always need to play within, your affordability. You need to be comfortable on a monthly basis to say that I can be able to cover this amount, whatever debt that I have, then it's fine. It's not a problem. Again, it also depends on it also depends on why did you take out that credit facility? Why did you take out that credit facility in the first place? Did it make sense, right? Because sometimes if you look at, for example, we go and buy clothes. No offense to anybody who sometimes I buy clothes with an account because for credit worthiness as well. So we go and buy these expensive clothes via credit, and now all of a sudden you're sitting on like 40,000 debt of clothing accounts, which doesn't make sense, because clothes, unless if you're gonna buy a suit and then you going to meetings and all of that stuff. But if there is no ROI, return on investment, I feel that if I put it in a right context when it comes to clothes, maybe it's a better example, I don't know. But there needs to be, why am I taking up that credit facility? Why am I applying for it? There needs to be a good, valid reason why I do that, because a lot of the times we are sitting with debt in our credit profiles that we can't even account for. You don't know why you took 100,000 Capitec credit card, which now it's sitting at 100,000. You don't know what you did with it. You can't even point at what you did with that. So it is absolutely critical that we, when we now start thinking credit, we understand why we're going to these financial institutions, why we're applying for that credit, and then what is the return out of that. So when you start thinking return, it becomes very, very important. So you need to be able to interrogate these things. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself in trouble, and you will forever be in this red race where you're always over indebted and you don't have anything to point for it. How painful it is when you keep on paying for debt that you don't know, you can't point what you did for. with that debt, with that credit. You don't know. You can't point. This is what I did. It's very, very sad, guys. And that is why a lot of us are depressed, when it comes to our finances, because sometimes it's that you don't know better, right? You didn't know better. You didn't have this, conversation, and then it becomes a problem. I know I've been there. There's a chapter in the book where I write about my first experience, how I actually got into debt, for the first time in my life, over indebted. Let me put it right, and it was all because of a lease agreement, because of, yes, sweetheart, it was a problem. So, but anyway, you'll read all about that in the book. It's gonna be amazing. So I hope that somewhere, somehow, I've given you some nuggets to think about today, and then you start to interrogate. And then if you can, guys, go and print out your statement. I normally do an exercise with my clients and say, go and print out your statement, your bank statement from October last year till June. So you can run it from October to June, and then just interrogate your bank statement, because that's where you pick up what are your financial habits, right? So you'll pick up if you're a spender, if you're an investor, and all of those kind of things, and then we start to interrogate it. Look, I'm very excited with the book. I'm hoping that I'll put in some challenge at the back of the book, so I'm almost done. There's still like 2 chapters to go. It's been rough, but it has been just rough nice, in terms of I wanted to put as much content as possible into the book, so that you get value for your money, and I can tell you that all the things that I've put in there are actually over what I'll probably charge. But it's all about, this is my gift to the world, to say that let us start doing better, guys. I've learned a lot. I'm learning a lot from the book. It's amazing. It's amazing how we can be so complacent as people. You think that you know everything, and then you don't even know a fraction, of what is going on. And it's been absolutely amazing to write this book. I felt that I was writing and reading at the same time, and which was fantastic for me. So be on the lookout for the pre-sales. The book cover is done. It's done. It's just that I can't release it as yet. I hope you're gonna love it. So quickly, maybe to give you in terms of the insight, in terms of the book cover. So when you see it, you must understand the reason behind it. So it's something different. I wanted to do something different, as always, to say that when it's by the bookshop, the shelves, because I always look at financial books, they're always boring. So I wanted this, but anyway, this one is not really about boring. It was, as I said, it was more spiritual. So it's all about where we are currently. So you'll see the colors. They talk about obviously being in financial hole. A lot of us are in a financial hole, and you feel that it's dark in there, but that's where the refinery happens. And you'll see that that there's a refinery element, and then there's a breakthrough element. So within the cover itself, I wanted to capture both that, to say that this is where we, some of us we're in this hole, and we can feel so depressed. We can feel like giving up. We can feel like the world is ending. But actually, that's where you've been refined. God is refining you, refining your finances, and then it's just like gold. When gold is being refined, it has to go through intense heat, and then from there on, it will then move on into something beautiful. You now have the ring on your finger. That ring, that gold, had to go through intense heat, and that's exactly what it is. So I've given away some things there. Gold, amazing. So it's gonna be great. But yeah, man, I hope that you're gonna take the nuggets. You're gonna do something about it today. Interrogate your finances. Go through your budget. See what you're paying there. Why did you pay? Why did you take up some of those credit facilities? And then it give you some perspective, because some of us, you're getting paid more and more. You are now having a side hustle, but your finances are not getting better. Why? Because you haven't fixed the problem, right? So don't manage the symptoms. Fix the problem. and then there won't be any symptoms, right? And then you'll be great. Anyway, Gavin and Kavela, I hope that you had an amazing and incredible time, engaging with me on this subject, and you're gonna have a super and incredible Sunday, right? So anyway, it's Gavin and Kavela. I'm signing out. Have a super Sunday. See you on the flip side.